Advancement Center. I'm Kim Stanwood, Terranova, and I'm so happy to have you here with us on this Saturday. We get to meet right here every Saturday and talk about our miracles at Rythmia. And I'm so honored and so excited to have Sandra joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Because Sandra's been with us the whole week, and I've had the blessing of having her presence near me and watching her transform and bubble up and change and catch insights and move mountains. So I thank you for being here with us so you could share that with everyone else. So thank you.
I'm actually honored. So thank you for having me.
I'm grateful for your yes. You just said yes.
I tried to run.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It
was like I was bringing you back in. You didn't try very hard. It was a good little yes. Yeah. So thank you. So tell me and everyone, what would you say? First, I'd love for you to share, how did you get to Rythmia? We always like to know, how did you get here?
I like everyone else, you're kind of called in a strange way. My best friend sent me James English, a podcaster, totally someone I would never watch. I'm not even into podcasts normally, but sent me this and said, this is so you're doing yoga, you're doing these different things and looking for different modalities. You should see this guy's journey to this place called Rythmia. This is someone who's never done a psychedelic, never done any drugs. I just was like, why are you sending me this? I watched James English change from this hardcore badass, if you will, to this cuddle puddle, I joked with. And I went, if that can work for him, there's some kind of secret. Because his truth rang through to me. As soon as I texted back after I watched the link, I said, I'm going. That was it. I'm going.
You were listening right then.
Yeah.
And you hit on something that's so perfect for us to always remember is that we're called.
Yes.
We're often called to Rythmia. So know that if that is knocking at your door and you listen. So thank you for listening. So tell us your week here. How would you describe your week here?
Let's start with my first truth was difficult. And when I say difficult, I don't mean that it gets into areas where you would like to avoid again, because I'm already booked to come back again. So
it's really important to know she's already rebooked.
And I've signed up for the aftercare program, which my ego wouldn't allow me at the beginning. I'm like, no, I'll get this. I'm a good student. And then this morning again, as I was challenged for a few things, which we can talk about, I went, are you kidding? That's why you said yes the other night. I said yes on Wednesday night that I was, oh no. In fact, I joked about it. I'm like, here's my credit card to the girl because I know I need to be here. And so yes to the aftercare program and yes to rebook me for 1 year exactly from the time I leave.
Oh, good. Then I get to see you again.
Yes. Oh, okay, you see me on the aftercare program.
Yes, I will. I'll see you on the aftercare program all the time.
Yes.
So you said the first one was that it was difficult, but that was your first truth.
Yes.
How did you move through that to what was your next truth?
That it's the best thing I've ever done for me. Yeah.
That is one of the most profound insights right there.
And who would think the polarity of the most difficult thing I've ever done, like having a child, but the best thing I've ever done. So my child, you have to leave that there. So there's my gift that the universe gave me. And oh man, it's been a journey with my child, but I so love him. And I so love Rythmia for offering me this second gift it's from somewhere greater than.
Yes. And for us to remember, just because something's difficult doesn't mean it isn't the best thing that's ever happened to us. And if we have the faith to keep moving through, which you did, I got to watch you this week move through moments of difficulty to freedom.
Yeah,
and that's
see those tears.
That's okay. And as long as we know we're moving through something, we keep going. And there's the pearls of wisdom keep coming. So keep going.
Well, I never wanted to quit once. So let's be clear about that.
Good.
I knew this was good medicine, but it was having to be real and to, I think, put the ego aside and think that this other weekend courses you're doing or the other investigations or tests that you're doing, how are they working out for you? Because I know I was making small baby steps forward. I was going in the right direction. But the point was, how long was that going to take? And my patience, I felt like the voice just kept yelling louder and louder. No, you need something else, but I couldn't find it.
So when you found us,
yes,
and your yes was big, what I'm loving this is that something was growing in you, but you just grew exponentially when you were here this week.
Well, I had to admit to Jerry, the owner and founder of Rythmia this morning, after I got help from my group again, I came out of this session of telling a truth, and then I walk up the path and Jerry's coming out of his gate. And I'm like, Jerry. And he said, yeah. And I said, I just used your name in vain. I'm laughing. I'm calling you all kinds of things. And there he goes, that's okay. Everybody does. And he's like, walk with me. Come on. Tell me what happened. And I said, after I watched the James English podcast, I went to look at Rythmia a little more, just kind of what you were advertising and to see testimonials on TripAdvisor. I do my research.
Yes.
But this character, was on the lives here, and he was talking to me, and I connected. I was like, he may be somebody I wasn't attracted to before because he's crazy telling me he's talking to the moon and he's done drugs and wild women and stuff. But why do I like this truth that you speak? So I started this little ritual, not even knowing it was a ritual, that I would have a bath when he would do his lives. And I'd sit and have my coffee listening to him in the bathtub. And it became, I'm going to go join
he must
Jerry.
have loved hearing that.
He was laughing his head off. He's like, really? And I said, everybody knows. It would be for work, where normally my ritual is like, do all my work in the morning and exercise and everything, and then boot it off to work. No, I'm taking time. I even told my boss, sorry, I'm sitting in the bathtub and I'm listening to Jerry before I get there.
I love this. But truth is truth. So
he just kept talking his truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is something that when we put it on the table, like, oh no, this is the truth for me.
Yeah.
Then
you feel it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just felt he was truthful. He didn't, his ego, he steps it aside and went, I wasn't a good guy. I am now, but I wasn't a good guy. And I liked that truth. I was like, because we all carry some shame from something we didn't do or that we hurt somebody. And he had to put it out, he rolled it all out so that we could all hear his truth to be able to get to our truth.
Beautifully said. He rolled it out for us to get to our truth. That's an act of service.
Yeah.
That's an act of trust and service to give of oneself for others to grow.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. So more on your truths that you discovered this week.
So difficult. I realized, I kept thinking, I love myself. I still hadn't let go of the stories I was carrying. Like, and I mean, forgive myself for the stories, I guess. I'd let go of some of them and thought, I released sickness and I forgive myself for other things I've done, but I didn't really put them aside. I didn't rid myself of them completely.
You're still carrying them a bit.
So after my first ayahuasca ceremony, at the very end of it, it just came out like a lion. And a lot of people around me were worried because I was just sobbing during the ceremony. And they were saying, were you okay last night? And I said, yeah. I've never been to bed. So they read it from the outside. Those tears sound painful. It was just a release for me. And it was funny because the shamans after were kind of once again gave me that little glimmer of, you got rid of it. And I said to them, it was like I was carrying that bag of stones around.
Yes.
And at that ceremony, I got to just let it go. I walked out 1,000. In fact, I was so blissful and high. I was like a kid. I was high into going in the next day into some of the classes, and some people had had a rough night, and I had to be careful because I was like singing and dancing. I made people sit in the hammock with me and laugh like kids.
Oh, I love it.
It really brought me back to happiness.
And I love how you could relate it to, it was as a bag of stones carrying around, and we don't realize that we just keep carrying the wounds, the resentments, the unforgiveness, and think we're going to just keep moving through life fine.
Yes.
And the journey here at Rythmia gives us the opportunity to unpack and not pick it back up. No. Like you healed it. You not only unpacked it and kept it there for a minute, you're not picking it back up.
And the part of doing it, I kept thinking, well, what if I had just done it by myself with a ceremony, for instance? The difference was I got to share that with some people who were beside me going through a really rough first night. Yes. So it gave them faith to go into ceremony too, because they were like, I would have quit. I would have quit had I not been able to see you so blissful, because I wanted a piece of that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And that to me, because then I felt good again, right?
Sure.
So I was so drunk going into ceremony too, and not on ayahuasca. I was drunk
on life and clarity.
And my mom had told me a couple months ago, honey, you lost your happiness somewhere. Because I was happy as in thinking I was happy, but she saw that inner, you lost your giggle, you lost your kid happy, right? Just to sit in the moment and laugh when you want to. Instead, it was must do, because society tells us we're supposed to reach goals and work hard, and it's all almost punishment instead of, okay, you get the money, you get this, you get the house, you get what else are you going to actually enjoy it? Yes. I think now I can go back and actually sit in that moment and go, I can sit on the grass and go, what a great day.
Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah. Okay, I love this. Thank you. There's something that I want you to share with everyone, because I got to watch you really catch a profound depth. You know what it is?
Yeah.
Would you share that, please?
So the next step after I let that grief go was I had, my voice is even
Okay.
croaking because of this. I realized I didn't ask for help. I never ask for help. And for some reason, in some of the roles I'm in, and I think even as a mother, as a partner, I just think was sometimes I didn't stop and go, you need somebody else's help. And you brought that up so nicely in a workshop and basically said, I don't even know how you cued me in on help. But
it was a story. I was sharing a story that's too long to go into now, but it was definitely how, spirit's waiting for, and I don't want to say waiting, spirit's present.
Yes.
For us. Are we willing to say, help me now, or accept help when it comes? And what you rang true in class was how often you're offered help, and are you accepting it or asking?
Yeah, and I kind of blow it off when someone even says thank you. I'm like, of course, it's my pleasure. But see, I just kind of push it even physically aside. But what you did is you were helping me set the intention for the next ceremony, because I'd had a bad second night. Let's be clear. The second night I got caught up in fear again. And so here I was, I released that bag, but the next night I went in and had to face some deeper levels of things. And instead of breathing through it and doing the tips and tools, I had no anchor, because the actual anchor was, well, just stand up and ask for help. If you're really dizzy or you're going through something you're not comfortable with, ask one of the many helpers who are here. No, I battled it out on that mattress all by myself. And it was terrible. It felt alone. And then I thought, oh, I'm not going into third day. Came to your workshop and you said, but you have to have an intention, because it's like going on a trip and no map. I was thinking, well, I work with words. I can do this. And then you just could tune it and tweak it. And it was like an aha moment where I went, thank you. And then I got to ask you for help. And then the help just kept coming that day. By the next ceremony, I wasn't afraid.
Yes.
I wasn't afraid that night. Yeah. I just walked into it like it was almost like when I sat down, I had all my help tools right in front of me. I was like, nothing's going to stop me.
And the power of asking. We honor one another. When one of us asks, I need help through this. Could you just help me through this?
Yes.
Then we're here energetically. We're all connected, and we're here to be together.
Yes.
And in this world where there's been some separation happening, it's so vitally important for us to stay together in that connection of, can I help you with this? Can you help me with that? Yes. And thank you. And remember that we're not alone. This is mass consciousness moving and breathing together, and your willingness to accept help just blesses all of us.
Well, and it took up the next thing that I've learned about that community and wholeness, because through this and actually acknowledging, as you said, when someone says thank you, it's my pleasure, and make sure they understand that was a gift you gave me.
Yes.
Yes, I may have helped you, but you just gave me the gift back for knowing that you acknowledged that help, because it was in earnest. It was my truth trying to help you. Is that I became very disconnected, even though I was helping people all the time. I didn't, as you said, take the other side of that. I was only giving, and wondering why sometimes there was a resentment or feeling empty, because you can't just keep giving.
Exactly. Then we get out of balance. That's why we have to be balance those structures. Okay, great. This is so good. Now, the whole adventure here, besides ceremony, what are the other things that you loved about the flow of Rythmia?
What didn't? The food is amazing. Thank you, Meg, and all of the staff.
Food's amazing.
Amazing. The massage. I have traveled the world, and I have experimented with massage because of carrying this pain. My body's been sick a lot, so everywhere I'd go, I would get massages. The best massage people I've ever had.
That's beautiful to know.
Yep.
I will go applaud the spa right after this. The best massages ever.
Housekeeping, even the little attention to detail.
Yes.
Like someone said this morning, it's not the fanciest resort I've been to. That's not what it's about. I've been to fancy and they don't even like working there. I didn't meet one person, whether it's the person picking up my plate, to the person cleaning, to the gardeners who every morning were like, buenos dias. They care. They want to be here instead of I'm just doing it for a paycheck. And you feel it when I've helped service industry people. I've been in the service industry. If you're not doing it for the right reason, get out.
That feels so good, because we truly have a family here that is here to support everyone coming. And we work that together. So it's wonderful that you're feeling that.
It didn't matter what level. And then, like I said, you bring in the experts like yourself that are here to help us and fine tune and finesse. Even if you think you might have taken enough schooling on something, like I said, I work with words, and you came in and went, now I've got, I go, no, I've got the word lady for
Good,
you.
good, good.
For
Love
intentions.
those
Like,
words.
and picking up those little things that you think you're on the right path, but someone
Mhm.
can see it from an objective point of
Mhm.
view and bring their experience into it. It's like, I'm on a much better
Yes.
path. Thank you.
Beautiful. And did you love our guest speaker this week, David Alt?
I love David.
Isn't
And
he
he
great?
helped me right after you helped me, because you said ask for help.
Mhm.
The next workshop immediately after was David doing 2 lines of people, where one is every person in your line had to tell you truths about what they know about you right now. And you had to stand looking in eyes
Receive
and
it.
receive it. Well, I was crazy crying. I was, because I had to just practice what you told me. And because they repeated a similar message, every person, and they didn't know, they can't hear each other. It reaffirmed what I knew about myself, but I wasn't allowing myself to
Yes,
receive.
you completely receive. Now, there's a blessing there. David and I didn't talk about that.
I know you didn't.
Which
He goes right out of the box. I'm going to pull something new here today.
And we had just done exercise in the morning class, The Answer's You, to prep, unbeknownst to prep for that, but it was really the gift to everyone in the room. And that's the magic of the miraculous, the magic of the miraculous that happens here in all different ways.
Yes.
So you've been catching many miracles this week.
Yeah. Even right up to today.
I'm so great. And you're coming back.
Yeah. Oh,
and you're coming back.
This is my family now. This
Oh,
is, and now it'd be just great if some of my family and friends can come
I
and
love
share that.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will. They have. What would you say to family and friends, whomever, someone you didn't know, if they're like, I'm thinking about going to Rythmia?
Be like me, do your homework, check on TripAdvisor, call, email anybody that you can, that you know's come. I think it's a blessing to feel it from people, and not, because let's face it, we all get so much information and so much, I'm in marketing and advertising, information from people, and you go, is that truth? Is that, it's easy for Jerry to get up and tell that truth, and we can feel it maybe, but we're like, but how did it feel to be on the other side of it?
Yes.
And when people start talking about talking to the moon, you're like, you have to know that people that came in and thought they maybe had it together realized they didn't have it together. And I don't know a group of how big this week, and not one person leaving today or tomorrow is leaving with, oh, I would never go back there. Not one that I ran into.
Oh,
Everybody
that's
said
so
it's
true. I love that. And that's the power of trusting the journey, that there's difficult moments and there's great moments, and can we ride the wave to know healing takes place, transformation takes place, and this is a cocoon of transformation. And you just got your wings in the middle of this week with everyone else.
Thank you.
Sandra, I'm so grateful you were here. I'm so grateful, and in such joy that you were in class and watching you grow, and I get to see you again. So I want to thank Sandra over and over again. I want to thank you all for being with us here. Come to Rythmia, come see us. As she so eloquently said, yes, check us out. See that we are definitely a safe, beautiful hub of love and transformation. We'd love to see you, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.